Torah portion, 15 February 2025, is entitled Yitro, His Excellency. The Torah text is taken from Exodus chapter 18 through chapter 20. The Haftarah is taken from Isaiah chapter 6 through chapter 7, verse 6. Also, chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. The Brit Hadashah is taken from Matthew chapter 19, verses 16 through 26. Exodus 18. And Yitro, the priest of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moshe and for Yisrael, his people, that Yehovah had brought Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. And Yitro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, the wife of Moshe, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the Elohim of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. Yitro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of Elohim. And he had said to Moshe, I, your father-in-law Yitro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law, and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare, and they went into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that Yehovah had done to Pharaoh, and to the Mitzrites for Yisrael's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yehovah had delivered them. And Yitro rejoiced for all the good which Yehovah had done for Yisrael, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Yitro said, Blessed be Yehovah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites. Now I know that Yehovah is greater than all the mighty ones, indeed in the matter in which they acted proudly, above them. Then Yitro, the father-in-law of Moshe, brought a burnt offering and other slaughterings unto Elohim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Yisrael to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before Elohim. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe set to rightly rule the people. And the people stood before Moshe from morning until evening. And when the father-in-law of Moshe saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? And Moshe said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to seek Elohim. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another, to make known the laws of Elohim in his Torah. And the father-in-law of Moshe said to him, What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it by yourself. Now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Elohim be with you. Stand before Elohim for the people, and you shall bring the matters to Elohim. And you shall enlighten them concerning the laws and the Torah, and show them the way in which they should walk, and the work which they should do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men who fear Elohim, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and place these over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you, but they themselves rightly rule every small matter. So make it lighter for yourself, for they shall bear with you. If you do this word, and Elohim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all this people also go to their place in peace. And Moshe listened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he said. And Moshe chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they rightly ruled the people at all times. The hard matters they brought to Moshe, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Moshe sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. Exodus 19. In the 3rd month after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. For they set out from Rephidim, and had come to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Elohim. And Yehovah called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, and declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice, and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and set before them all these words which Yehovah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yehovah has spoken, we shall do. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yehovah. And Yehovah said to Moshe, See, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. And Moshe reported the words of the people to Yehovah. And Yehovah said to Moshe, Go to the people, and set them apart today and tomorrow. And they shall wash their garments, and shall be prepared by the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day Yehovah shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. And you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain, or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall certainly be put to death. Not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, let them come near the mountain. And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people, and set the people apart, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, Be prepared by the 3rd day. Do not come near a wife. And it came to be on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain. And the sound of the ram's horn was very loud, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yehovah descended upon it in fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when the blast of the ram's horn sounded long, and became louder and louder, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. And Yehovah came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mountain. And Yehovah called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. And Yehovah said to Moshe, Go down and warn the people, lest they break through unto Yehovah to see, and many of them fall. And let the priests who come near Yehovah set themselves apart too, lest Yehovah break out against them. And Moshe said to Yehovah, These people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, Make a border around the mountain and set it apart. And Yehovah said to him, Come, go down, and then come up, you and Aharon with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to Yehovah, lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them. Exodus 20. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yehovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, Yehovah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yehovah your Elohim to naught, for Yehovah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath day, to set it apart. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yehovah your Elohim. You do not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger, who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yehovah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yehovah blessed the Sabbath day, and set it apart. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yehovah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's house. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders, the lightning flashes, the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain smoking. And the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance, and said to Moshe, You speak with us, and we hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that his fear be before you, so that you do not sin. So the people stood at a distance. But Moshe drew near the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Yehovah said to Moshe, Say this to the children of Israel. You yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from the heavens. You do not make, besides me, mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourself. Make an altar of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I shall come to you and bless you. And if you make me an altar of stone, do not build it of cut stone, for if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. Nor do you go up by steps to my altar, lest your nakedness be exposed on it. Isaiah 6. In the year the sovereign Uzziah died, I saw Jehovah sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the Hekal. Above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one cried to another and said, Set apart, set apart, set apart is Yehovah of hosts. All the earth is filled with his esteem. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe to me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the sovereign, Yehovah of hosts. And one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal, which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it, and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your crookedness is taken away, and your sin is covered. And I heard the voice of Yehovah saying, Whom do I send? And who would go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go, and you shall say to this people, Hearing you hear, but do not understand, and seeing you see, but do not know. Make the heart of this people fat, and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and shall turn and be healed. Then I said, Yehovah, until when? And he answered, Until the cities are laid waste and without inhabitant, and the houses are without a man, and the land is laid waste, a ruin. And Yehovah has removed men far away, and the forsaken places be many in the midst of the land. But still, there is a 10th part in it, and it shall be again for a burning, like a terebinth tree and like an oak, whose stump remains when it is cut down. The set apart seed is its stump. And it came to be in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, sovereign of Yehudah, that Retzin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Ramalyahu, sovereign of Yisrael, went up to Jerusalem to fight against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was reported to the house of David, saying, Aram has set up camp in Ephraim, and his heart and the heart of his people were moved, as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. And Yehovah said to Yeshayahu, Go out now to meet Ahaz, you and Sheir Yashub your son, at the end of the channel of the upper pool, on the highway of the launderer's field. and say to him, Take heed and be calm. Do not fear or be faint-hearted, for these two stubs of smoking firebrands, for the fierce displeasure of Redzin and Aram, and the son of Ramalyahu. Because Aram, Ephraim, and the son of Ramalyahu have plotted evil against you, saying, Let us go up against Yehudah and tear it apart, and break it open for ourselves, and set a sovereign over him, the son of Tabiel. For a child shall be born unto us, a son shall be given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder. And his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end, upon the throne of David and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now on, even forever. The order of Yehovah of hosts does this. Matthew 19:16 through 26. And see, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life? And he said to him, Why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. He said to him, Which? And Yeshua said, You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. Respect your father and your mother. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man said to him, All these I have watched over from my youth. What do I still lack? Yeshua said to him, If you wish to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven. And come, follow me. And when the young man heard the word, he went away sad, because he had many possessions. And Yeshua said to his taught ones, Truly, I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the reign of the heavens. And again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim. And when his taught ones heard it, they were very astonished, saying, Who then is able to be saved? And looking intently, Yeshua said to them, With men this is impossible, but with Elohim all is possible.